Welcome back, you guys. I hope you're all doing well. We're in the garage today working on the FRS. Race schedule has been announced. This is an open venue. You are able to come and spectate and ride along, actually. I don't know how COVID restrictions are going to be, so some drivers may not want to have random people riding in their cars. Along with that is you will have to bring your own helmet. So most Snell helmets will be approved. I'll put up a picture of all the helmets that are allowed to be used on track. If your helmet has any of those stickers, you will be able to use it on course. They used to do a loaner program. They don't do that anymore because of COVID. When you arrive at the venue, you'll simply sign a waiver and then you'll get a wristband. Even to be on property, you have to sign the waiver though. All the events for this year so far have been announced. I will put up all of the scheduled dates for the year. It's going to be in Columbus, Ohio, in Obetz at a site called the Obetz Fortress. I believe it's like an athletic center. All the events will be on a Sunday. I believe the course goes live. First car will be on course about 9:45 or 10 o'clock. If you want to get there a little earlier, racers will have to be there at 7:30 for inspection, registration, all that good stuff. If you want to sign up and race, I will include links down below. They have a website they use that they register everyone through, and that's how you pay, and then you just sign up. You sign in when you get there in person, and that's how they check you in. So, moving on, it is time to get this car prepared to be slow. It's not really slow. It's kind of slow. So what I've got here is, this is my front splitter. The car is not really going fast on autocross, but this might help with like 15 pounds of downforce in the straightaways maybe. And it's mostly for aesthetics. And also I learned that it saves my bumper from hitting cones. Because yes, I drug a cone for about 30 feet when I hit it doing 35 miles an hour, and this saved my front bumper. So I will continue to rock this front bumper. These cars from the factory have a bad air pressure pocket in the rear end and under the front hood. So to alleviate some of the pressure buildup under the front hood, I've done these louvers, and this also actually helps with cooling and keeping some of the coil packs cool. And also I think there's a crank temperature sensor that people talk about that overheats as well, and the temperature causes premature failure. This helps remedy some of that. For the rear end, I started cutting this last fall and I didn't get to finish it, but this basically creates a negative pressure zone, and as air comes under here, it creates a negative pressure up here, and it will actually help the car hunker down and have less drag and a little more downforce. And this basically makes the rear end into a flat bottom. So all I need to do for the rear is decide how I want to cut these, and then give her a splash of black paint like the front. Now I also have to go through and figure out my splitter rods, the mess of hardware that I pulled off the front end. So we get to go through and figure all that out again. Shouldn't be too bad. The first time I did this, it probably took me 2 days to figure out, cut, measure. I probably had the splitter off a dozen times. Like, it was a lot of test and trial. So this time it should just be figuring out where the bolts go back to. I wanted to make it a little easier to take on and off, but honestly I think I'm just gonna throw it on and rock it and see what happens. And maybe throughout the year I'll come back to it, or next winter we can. You know, when they ask you what your inspiration was, you can always say a trash can. It helps. I'm actually going to, I think I want to move this line over here and then bring it out and create a notch up about right here, I think, and then bring it over. I think that I'm happy with this line coming out here. It follows the body line right here. It is pretty much flush with the rear diffuser. Comes out to the edge. That'll work out nice. I had to move to the front of the garage because her two wheels is filming in the backyard. So I brought this inside. I'm gonna let it dry. And while that's drying, we're gonna tear off the front bumper. Hopefully I remember where everything goes, because there's a lot of hardware that holds this puppy on. It's so much hardware to take off. I don't know why I took this off last fall. Like, it would have completely done fine in the winter. Like, nothing really would have hurt it unless I ran it into a curb. I'm not doing this next year. It's staying on through the winter. Like, I think we had one bad winter day this year and they canceled work, so I hadn't even driven it. It's staying on this time. This is a lot of freaking nuts and bolts and pop tabs. Let's keep going. We're on the downhill now. So last time I ran this, these worked out pretty good. Like, these are just rear supports, so this doesn't fall too bad. My front splitter rods though, they go all the way up here into the front bumper support, and those were a little extended. So what I have is some scrap metal here. I'm basically going to create a new hole and bend this out, and that way it'll shorten the distance I have to go. And by shortening these, makes these stronger as well. And that'll give me more just ability to plane this up or down for the front bumper. Alright, after a little bit of reconstruction on the front end, I just redid a couple tabs. I think it came out pretty good. I forgot how many bolts I put into that to make it stable and structurally strong. Well, I know this is the first time you guys have seen me working on something that's not motorcycle related. I don't know how exciting you find it, but it's all the same to me, really. I am excited to get this car back out and start driving it hard. That's when the car really shines, is at its limits. And this just helps it look a little better too, I think. I'm planning on April 1st I'll get my wheels on. That's when the temperatures really start upswinging in Ohio. If you guys are excited for more car content this summer, I'll post all the links to the races down below. Till next time, guys, later.